Bitcoin is a safe haven, just like gold. Wow, that's amazing. It would be phrased exactly like that in a TV clip on French TV. It's crazy what's happening here, how the coverage is changing. Some people say that this clip is the best clip that's ever aired on French television. I watched the clip and also translated it into German with AI. It's crazy that we're now hearing more and more positive reporting around the world, even from socialist shitholes, like here in France. There's also a lot of positive reporting about Bitcoin now because people are realizing, hey, in France, things are really falling apart for folks. France is a country that's become known for its censorship, where people like Pavel Durov are actually getting locked up just for expressing their opinions and stuff, and where all these platforms like Telegram are being set up. And now we're seeing that people are starting to get it, hey, we need Bitcoin, we need this tool for freedom. France is a country that is now known for its real censorship, for people like Pavel Durov being imprisoned just for expressing their free opinion and things like that, and for setting up various platforms like Telegram. And now we see that people are also realizing, hey, we need Bitcoin, we need the freedom tool. Bitcoin is the tool that's here for us, that brings us more, let's say, into harmony. And look at these cool flowers here from El Salvador. Yeah, for sure, I've checked out that report too. It's not long, but it really contains some powerful statements. I was really surprised myself, and I always love being involved in calling out TV and media when they do a really bad job with their reporting, shooting back at them and correcting the whole thing. But if they're actually doing their job well, then I'm also ready to give them a thumbs up and say, hey folks, this is exactly what we need. We don't even need the ultra bullish reporting. But if they're really doing their job well, then I'm also ready to give it the thumbs up and say, hey folks, this is exactly what we need. We don't even need the ultra bullish reporting. It's enough if it's reported in a slightly neutral way, or it doesn't even have to be positive, just neutral reporting is enough. And now Bitcoin is actually being equated with gold. Here, they're talking about a safe haven. Larry Fink always says Bitcoin is the flight to quality. France is struggling too. And that's really clear in a time when we're being bombarded with crisis situations everywhere. And things don't look any better in France either. France has a huge problem with its national debt really spiraling out of control. I mentioned this in my video a few days ago, that France is really on the brink of collapse and Germany could get dragged down with it. Because if France collapses and the national debt spirals out of control, then Germany will get dragged down with it. Maybe they've realized now that Bitcoin can be a solution. I don't think it's been recognized on a large political level yet, but at least it's a big step. That France is starting to open up. And now check out this clip because it really packs a punch.
Cryptocurrency. Don't be surprised if the topic comes up at dinner on New Year's Eve. And it's the new generation that they might be reaching out to. What do you think about cryptocurrencies with that question? A few weeks ago, Bitcoin crossed the symbolic mark of $1,000 before it started to decline slightly. So, is 2021 an illusion, a risky bet, or a new safe haven?
Alexander Gein, Luke Bazizan, Justine Vale. The whirlwind of a cryptocurrency, reaching new heights, up 50% in a month for Bitcoin. The most well-known of them. Of course, the curious are getting more numerous. I'm just getting started. That was about 15 days ago. I initially invested a little over 1,000 euros, and now I'm at about 1,200 euros.
What made you do it? Investing, curiosity, and profit.
The value of these virtual currencies has been steadily rising since the beginning of the year. Alongside Lille, Nicolas Renaud is one of the young investors who prefer cryptocurrencies over the livret A. For the past 3 years, he's been investing between 200 euros and 500 euros every month.
You can see that the curve has been steadily rising since 2021. Right now, we have an increase of 244% compared to assets like the American stock market or gold, which have lagged behind Bitcoin.
Overall, he has invested 15,000 euros, an investment that is now worth more than double. This profit comes at just the right time for him and his partner. They moved into this house this year for the birth of their son and are planning some renovations.
With my Euro winnings, the heater is starting to get very old, so we will be able to replace it. And we will also be able to convert the laundry room into an office, which will be much more practical for 2021 work here.
If Bitcoin is gaining so much value, it's because it has become a safe haven similar to gold. And in the past few weeks, its rise has accelerated with Donald Trump's election, who promises more flexible regulations. The United States will be the global capital of cryptocurrency and the superpower of Bitcoin. We're going to make it. Cryptocurrencies are on the rise. But these financial investments are very volatile. The speculation never stops. In 2022, Bitcoin, for example, dropped significantly.
The crypto market is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all around the world. That means while they're sleeping, there are people in Asia or the US who are trading right now. And the market is much more dynamic, much more volatile because of that. Volatile, so risky.
Still, more and more French people own it, about 10% of the population. So some businesses want to ride the Bitcoin wave. In this famous department store chain, it's now possible to pay with these cryptocurrencies.
I arrive at the platform, scan the QR code for the crypto. I have the amount I need to enter, so the item costs 90. I'm going to enter the amount for the item here. Yeah, and 30. Okay, I'm moving on.
The brand primarily targets American and Asian tourists. This Malaysian isn't paying with his Bitcoins yet, but he's excited about it. Cryptocurrencies are already part of the payment methods, so we will definitely consider them as an option in the future. But there are still many obstacles to the development of cryptocurrencies in France. Today, when you convert them to euros, the value increases 30%, just like with stocks.
So what's being said here is really quite explosive. I'm also going to throw in a few critiques, let's say, because I think the piece started off really well here, especially with the comparison to gold and all that. But then in the end, I don't know, with the public broadcasters, they always seem to have to, at least that's how I've experienced it when I've worked with media houses, they always have to throw in a few people who say something negative or something like that. So I don't get it. And then sometimes you get these wild stories coming out, but basically this was a really, really good piece, or not a piece, but a report. Anyway, what's being said here is, hey folks, Bitcoin is equated with gold, but it's actually very different. So actually, Bitcoin isn't equivalent to gold. Rather, Bitcoin is way better than gold. Easier to transport, easier to verify, scarcer, rarer. That means Bitcoin clearly has advantages over gold. That means you would even have to add to it here. No, Bitcoin is not the same as gold, but Bitcoin is gold on steroids. Bitcoin is the rocket shooting up, and gold is just the airplane, which is a bit slower, a little more old school, and so on. Or like the horse and the automobile, you know? Gold is like the horse, and Bitcoin is the automobile, which is a bit more modern. Or like the horse and the automobile, or something like that. Gold is like the horse, and Bitcoin is like the automobile, which is a bit more modern. But at least it is recognized here that Bitcoin is really legitimate, that it is a vehicle with which one can pay and in which one can save. And now, something really wild has happened in this clip where someone is shown proudly saying, yeah, I've been quietly back here. The dog is wandering around again. He probably wants to buy Bitcoin. By the way, you can check it out. I'll drop a link below for Bitcoin where you can easily buy Bitcoin. With the code Bitcoin Hotel, you can get up to 20% off the fees when buying Bitcoin. Or I don't know why it's going crazy, but probably the person here wants to buy Bitcoin, got FOMO, now that he's heard me talk. In any case, there was someone in the clip who actually made a profit with Bitcoin, which was pretty cool. But now he's made a big mistake. He's taking all of his profits and using them to buy a washing machine. And what happens to the washing machine after, I don't know, 2 or 3 years? I think it might need repairs or something, and that's probably an expensive repair in euros. I don't know, maybe he bought something else with it, but when you take your investment and turn it into a consumer good, like, okay, I'll say a washing machine is maybe more than just a consumer good because it's a lifestyle choice to have a washing machine, it saves you time. But if you just bluntly take an investment or a savings vehicle like Bitcoin and swap your profits for random consumer goods, whether it's parties or pointless stuff or plastic items or whatever, then you create huge opportunity costs. Because every cent that comes out of Bitcoin is basically a missed chance for returns. What happens with Bitcoin if I hold it for, say, 10 years? What he has now could turn into $500,000 or I don't know how much, and then that would be a really expensive repair. I'm not saying, hey, live like the ultimate frugalist and don't spend any money or anything like that. You just have to find a good balance between spending and income. I'm not saying, hey, live like the ultimate frugalist and don't spend any money or anything like that. You just have to find a good relationship between expenses and income. But if you take all your profits and buy random consumer goods with them, then you just haven't understood the idea of Bitcoin. The idea of Bitcoin is to save something on the side that you don't necessarily have to touch, something you can let sit for several years. And in doing so, you build up a massive cushion, and that cushion gives you freedom. Freedom on the financial side, so financial power, meaning I have that financial power backing me up, but also the opportunity to create even more wealth. As long as you don't sell the Bitcoin, they tend to keep rising. Financial freedom, so financial power, meaning I have that financial power backing me up, but also the opportunity to create even more wealth. As long as you don't sell the Bitcoin, they tend to keep rising. And sure, you can make small sales, sell off little things, and then buy washing machines with that. But if he now E.G. If he holds the Bitcoin for another 5 years, he could make so many gains that he wouldn't just be able to buy one washing machine, but maybe even 100 washing machines, just to exaggerate a bit. And you really have to weigh this out properly because it's so easy to just take profits and sell off the winners, saying, yeah, it's gone well, let's sell now. And then 2 years later, it's sitting at 1 million Bitcoin. And that has happened in the past to so many people I know. I've seen many people say, back in 2017, the Bitcoin price was just a few thousand euros. I sold all my Bitcoin, thinking it was the deal of a lifetime. But no, it wasn't. I thought it wasn't going to go up anymore, so I took some profits in euros and sold all my Bitcoin, thinking I had made the deal of a lifetime. But no, you didn't make the deal of a lifetime, it just looks that way right now. So it's an illusion. If you really look 5 years ahead, then I'd say you didn't make a good deal because Bitcoin has exploded massively. Sure, it doesn't do you any good to be the richest person in the world if you end up dying in a graveyard, and that's something to keep in mind. But like I said, it's all about finding the right balance. And the right balance is usually not to sell all your Bitcoin, but maybe to sell a portion of your Bitcoin. I don't know if he sold all his Bitcoin here or just a portion of it. In any case, volatility will be discussed further in this report. Volatility isn't a risk if holding Bitcoin long-term. For short-term, if you don't plan on selling your Bitcoin for the next 4 or 5 years, then the volatility doesn't bother you at all. And if you want to sell your Bitcoin, let's say, in the next 4 or 5 years, then Bitcoin is really the wrong vehicle because you should only throw money into Bitcoin that you won't need for the next 3, 4, 5, or ideally 10 years. That way, the volatility won't bother you unless you're checking your portfolio every 2 minutes, which isn't recommended either. So, folks, you really need to realize this. Only put money into Bitcoin that you won't need in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Because sure, then volatility is a big problem. But hey, if you see it as an investment or a savings tool and you don't plan on selling your Bitcoin for the next 10 years, then why should you care about the volatility? Bitcoin is better than stable currencies like the Swiss franc or euro, which lose value. Why worry if Bitcoin's volatility is stressful or if the Swiss franc is stable but stagnant? See through the illusion of volatility. And what good does it do me if I'm checking my portfolio every 2 seconds and Bitcoin is volatile, and then I freak out? Or if I look at the Swiss franc and everything is chill because nothing is moving? That means you just have to see through the illusion of volatility. And the volatility here is brutal because volatility also means that we still have massive return opportunities because a lot of people are put off by this volatility. And all the idiot investors, they just buy some kind of government bonds or they buy some kind of, portfolio ETF returns of 7.3% where you can't even really outperform inflation. And then they think they're the superheroes, not realizing that they haven't even really outperformed inflation with their investment. And that is ultimately what you have to understand, and that is also what distinguishes the stupid investor from the smart investor. The clueless investor doesn't get that volatility, isn't a problem, while the smart investor realizes, hey, volatility is actually awesome, because it means a lot of clueless investors won't buy in, and I can cash in on those massive gains. That's actually something really, really awesome. Then they also talk about the USA, saying that the USA is going to become the new superpower. I'm curious about that too. So it seems like they have insider information. Or maybe they were talking from Trump's perspective, I don't know. Definitely a very, very interesting report. Wait, I'm going to take you up front with me because I'm walking on the beach right now. I actually recorded the video now, but I didn't even show you the beach. So now I'm going to quickly show you the beach here at Bitcoin Beach during sunset. Now guys, let me know in the comments if you're one of those idiot investors who's afraid of volatility 2001. Or if you're one of the smart investors who aren't scared off by volatility. Catch you later. Peace out.